Alrighty, so the first videos that we're gonna go over will be for the deep squat. To start off, we noticed that there was a pretty significant change, especially since there was pain in the first video, which automatically delegates the score to 0. As you can see, it's definitely tough even getting any sort of knee flexion. And even getting like below horizontal for the femur was very difficult for me. I did have pain in my ankles and lower back doing these, which is why the score is a 0. As you can see in these videos, very unstable with the dowel above my head. And then if we go to the second videos, you can definitely see it's a lot more fluid and natural of a movement rather than a forced movement compared to the first video. You will definitely see it on the side view as well too. It just looks a lot smoother. Although the femur isn't allowed to get parallel or below parallel or below horizontal, the pain-free lower back and knees and ankles allowed it to go from an FMS score of a 0 to about like a 1 to 2. There were some signs of 2 in there, and then there was about half of them that said it was about a 1. And then we go on to the trunk stability push-up. Before we do that, I wanted to discuss that we were able to achieve our goal of getting myself off of the block, which I needed to get a deep squat in for the original video. Although we achieved our goal of that, we understand that there could probably be a deeper squat due to some stuff that we'll discuss at the end of the video. But yeah, let's go on to the next one. And then for number 2, another improvement that we noticed was the trunk stability push-up, which I will bring up right about now. Perfect. As you can see, I tried to do it with my thumbs aligned at the top of my head. One thing not mentioned or like really seen here was the pain that I had after doing these. I was sore for anywhere between like 3 to 4 days with lower back pain. That was pretty painful. And I lower my hands right here, which you'll see it's a lot smoother of a transition, and there's no lag from the knees to the mid torso. So it's a lot smoother of a transition, but it definitely did hurt, and it was very painful doing that. Whereas if we go to the second video, which begins about right here, we did a spinal flexion clearing test to determine if there was any pain, which there wasn't this time around. As you can see, they're aligned with my chin, and there was no lag whatsoever on that aspect. I try to raise my hands up a little bit more to see if I can do it a little bit higher, but I really didn't feel the need to do it since the last time I did it, I did get hurt. But there was no pain in this one whatsoever, which was definitely a really big and significant improvement. The FMS score change went from a 0 to 2 because of the prior pain in the first video versus no pain to the second video. It's a 2 and not a 3 because I wasn't able to get my thumbs aligned with the top of my head, but I was able to get them aligned with the chin on that one. And that will be all for that one.
Next, we want to talk about some of the exercises that we saw minor improvements, but not enough to say that they were significantly improved. And first, we want to talk about the inline lunge. So as you could see in this first one, his back foot is a little off center, trying to make his base a little wider, as well as his front foot lifting off the board. But on the second one, you could see that he did improve in keeping a straighter, that inline position, keeping his base straight, but he did have his front foot come up. He's continued to come up, but as you saw right now, that first one did not come up. So that leads us to believe that if he continues his exercises, he could potentially improve his lunge drastically. And next, we want to point out his shoulder mobility. So as you could see, the right hand above, he did pretty well, but the issue was when his right hand was on the bottom, he struggled more. He states that he felt like if it was stiff and he couldn't lift it higher. And that stayed the same in this the second video as well. And we want to believe that this might be because he had a past of playing baseball and he was right-handed, and it's been noted that playing baseball and your dominant hand tends to be a little more, I guess, restricted in shoulder mobility. And now Oscar's gonna talk about our training log.
So the workouts we prescribed for Donovan was to help with his restrictions. So we mainly wanted to target the glutes, as well as the core stability, and mainly that dorsiflexion restriction that he has. Now we know that there is a history of his movement pattern that he broke his ankles, or one of his ankles. So that definitely is going to contribute to that dorsiflexion restriction, as we know that it most likely build up scar tissue. So there's only one way to really deal with that, is to pretty much break up that scar tissue. So one of the exercises we incorporated was worm walks to help stretch the soleus and gastrocnemius. That can also help with the increase of dorsiflexion. And then we did banded bridges to help activate the glutes and hamstring, to help get him a better score on the deep squat, as well as the RDL, again, trying to emphasize that activation of the glutes and the hamstring. Now for the core stability, we did do the plowing the field with the emphasis on stretching the hamstrings. So with this exercise, we did start on a very easier side of the regression. So we did, I want to say we didn't probably regress too far. But then again, on his videos, it did show that he did a significant improvement from having pain to having no pain. Also, we did some thoracic spine foam rollers to help with retract the shoulders back and roll out his thoracic spine, since he is a student and he does commute a lot. So he's always in the hyperlordosis state. So that's one of the exercises to help with that. And then for his shoulder mobility, we worked on bear crawls. We're training the shoulder joint as a weight bearing joint. Again, we did not so much of a tight band around his wrist in the bear crawls. We mainly focused on just him being able to actually do the exercise. So our progression was not very strong. Looking back at it, we probably could have progressed a little bit further. And this would probably most likely would have led to him being able to have his left arm reach further back. But yes, all right. And then for week 2, unfortunately, we were only able to do 4 exercises just due to the lack of time we had. We all had like busy work schedules. So we mainly just wanted to work on what we thought was the more important aspects of his FMS, which was, again, the dorsiflexion. So we did a lot of worm walks to help stretch the soleus. We did the banded bridges, although this time on the week 2, we did have a little bit of a tighter band. But again, we probably should have pushed ourselves to progress even further, but then we ran out of time. And then we did do RDLs to again help activate the gluteus and the hamstrings. And then we wanted to incorporate a core stability workout to help improve overall core strength. So we did plowing the field. Again, with this one, we used the same band as we did on week 1. So we didn't really try to progress too much on that one. We were being more cautious of our client's health and his status. So if we were to continue with this program, we would probably look at the progression states and probably progress to a further, more difficult workout, possibly incorporating stronger bands or maybe even more sets. But that was probably one of our flaws in this this project. But again, we were mainly focused on our clients' health and ability to be able to still move and not feel so fatigued afterwards, since he does do his own training on the side as well. So that's mainly it. Yeah. That's
Alrighty, thank you so much, Steve. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Scotland.